Thanks, Doug, and good morning, everyone. Right, so I was at the immigration office in Malaysia when the movement control order was first announced. I was on leave that day, renewing my helper's working visa. There was no social distancing, no contact tracing, no rules for face masks yet, as you can see. And for those of you who are not familiar, movement control order, or better known as MCO locally, is basically our version of lockdown, travel restriction, and curfew. So the COVID-19, it is an unfortunate event. However, to a certain extent, there's probably a silver lining for those of us who are in digital. For people, yes, lockdown was happening, but so was life. I have my bills to pay, my money to save, my prepaid to top up, transferring money to others, or in this case, asking people to transfer money to me. With the lockdown and the closure of branches, online is really the way to go. But this was not like any other time. People were concerned about the outbreak and were feeling helpless that their life was affected. For us, yes, it was a good time for us to move our customers online, but it was also important for us to make sure that the tonality was right. We wanted to make sure that we are there for our customers. So as an organization, we roll out our communications that revolved around this message. We talked about the convenience and safety of banking online from home. We offered freebies. We removed certain fees and charges so that we can attract our customers to come online and at the same time help to relieve some financial burden. We also put together some step-by-step videos on how to use our online banking platform, knowing that by and large, the late adopters were the less savvy group or the more elderly ones. So making sure that we had all this information in place was crucial. Just to share some stats, our active users actually went up by 13% if we compare before MCO and during MCO. Our online transfers increased by 32% and prepaid reload went up by 23%. Right, then this happened. The moratorium. I think this is a new term probably most of us learned thanks to COVID-19. Basically, it was a 6-month holiday granted by the banks in Malaysia to most loans and financing. This was unprecedented. People were eager for more information. Am I eligible? How do I apply? Is there add-on interest and so on? There were so many of them. And at that point, we didn't have answers to all these questions even. At the same time, we were already assessing what financial effects this would have on our financial books. I remember at the time a task force was put together fairly quickly. So we've already started working digitally at the time, so that really helped a lot in terms of communicating and making decisions, considering there are so many different parties that were involved. So we had members from these teams basically getting on calls on a daily basis to discuss what was the rollout strategy. We started getting high volume of calls because there was a genuine urgent need for the moratorium. So speed to market was key. And on the digital side, what we did was we roll out a lead generation form very soon on our informational website for our customers to either find out more or they can submit to apply for moratorium. Now that was really important because it helped to relieve the load of our call centers and also on our social media team. I mean, knowing that, today, if people have questions, they will go onto social media and then they will bombard you with questions. So we received around 20% fewer inquiries because of this form, as all these online applications then were actually going directly to our operations team. But there was still a bit of work for the operations team to handle. considering that they then need to verify all this information provided was correct. So what we did was we thought, okay, is there any other way for us to enhance or smoothen the experience and the operations? So what we did was we then roll out another form with the intention to simplify our customers' user experience. This form is slightly different from the previous one. This one, actually, our customers need to log in to their online banking account and then to submit the form. It's actually much simpler because all the information were pre-populated. They didn't have to look for any of their loan account details. I mean, knowing that, we don't usually have all this information at hand. And after submitting the form, they would also actually get a digital copy of their payment details. At the same time, it also relieved our operations team because all information was already verified. Right, I think we can all agree that digital plays a crucial role in our businesses and as well as in delivering great customer experience. Yes, a digital tool can be designed to offer convenience, but to encourage adoption and stickiness, we need to include empathy into the equation as well. I mean, take COVID-19 as an example. As an organization, we took into account that people were feeling anxious about the lockdown, their loss of income, and many other uncertainties. So we made sure that we humanize the languages that we use across all our communications. We made all this supporting information more easily available on our digital channels, so we could keep them informed and also feel assured when they interact with us. Right, the next thing, done is better than perfect. I mean, this is something that I believe in, but that doesn't mean we stop evolving. What digital gives us, right, is a mean to continue to improve, especially during this time when there were so many uncertainties. I mean, we're not even 100% sure what we're up against. So every piece of new information actually helped us find ways to reiterate our digital solution to make it better every time. Digital culture. There should not be a clear separation of, like, you are the business team, so you handle all the business matters, and once you have done up your requirements, just let me know and I'll handle the digital aspect of it. This is very siloed and I don't think it helps to deliver an optimum outcome. I strongly believe in an integrated work approach, especially for the digital team, to understand business, to understand processes, to understand operation, to understand risks, all these that are usually not within the digital expertise. But once we get these understanding, it helps to come up with a more holistic and well-balanced digital solution. And for the rest of the organization, digital should not be seen as the only way to execute. The digital mindset should be embraced by all. Right, so moving on, something on a lighter note. During the MCO, people were sharing a lot of personal experience on social media. Like, for example, not getting a haircut for 3 months, or people cooking and baking their way through the pandemic. This post actually went quite viral during the lockdown. So it is quite a long post. So what I've done is I've taken out snippets of the post just so that you can see what was the content about. But to put it in a nutshell, basically, there was this person who actually went to a hawker and found out that they were struggling very, very badly. I mean, street food and hawker culture actually are huge within the Malaysians, among the Malaysians. It was tough for us to see these merchants suffer to such extent. So as an individual, yes, some of us, could still go out, make the trip to buy the food, but during the lockdown, it was actually quite challenging. As an organization, we were wondering if there's anything we could do to help them. Right. So at the time, we figured that people did have the intention to help these merchants. So we're wondering, why don't we connect the 6 million visitors of Maybank to you to these merchants? And on top of that, what we did was we mobilized our branch network nationwide to sign these merchants up, all without them having to pay any fees and charges. And on the other hand, we also worked hand in hand with a couple of delivery service providers to deliver on behalf of these merchants. We subsidized the delivery fee, so customers would only pay when the distance was beyond 10 kilometers. Now, many of these merchants, right, actually they were not the most digital savvy. If we were to make them sign up to a complex food ordering system, we didn't think that that was the way to go. But what we knew was that WhatsApp was extremely common. So we thought, why don't we use that as the ordering mechanism to make the process simpler for these merchants? Plus, to be frank, we didn't know that whether this would work. So an MVP like this, which rely on an existing platform, that would serve as a proof of concept for us. So we launched Sama Sama Local. After 2 weeks, when we had the idea. So we launched with around over 1,000 of F&B merchants nationwide. And over time, we actually continue to evolve by adding more and more merchant categories, like for example, fresh produce, seafood, Raya and Ramadan delicacies, durian, and so on. And most recently, mooncake. And we also roll out online ordering feature, which gives a more seamless ordering experience to our customers. This is the number of orders that we have received to date, and it has actually surpassed what we intended to achieve. The very common questions that we get these days is Maybank really going into a delivery business? We'll see. And we're now almost 7 months since the MCO first started. We all know that the online behavior is here to stay. So as a bank, we continue to roll out different digital features that aim to make our customers' lives easier. So this year, Ramadan actually coincided with the lockdown. So for our Muslim patrons, they can actually pay their zakat fitrah either on Maybank to you or using our QR Pay, which is a QR payment solution. This service was also open to our new to bank customers because they could sign up for May, which is our e-wallet, fully online, and they could then use the services that's available. EasyQ is an online booking system that we rolled out just last week. What customers can do is they can now make appointment online with our branches before they visit. Again, this makes their lives easier because it saves time, they didn't have to wait at the branch, and from our side, actually, it also helps to manage the footfall at our branches, which is important at the time like this. And next one is SME loan online application. So with the rising demand for financing by the SMEs, we actually accept online application, and the beauty behind it is we can actually inform our customers on the application outcome within 10 minutes. And if say it's approved, and if say this customer actually is a Maybank SME customers, we will disperse the funds to the account just within a minute. Right. Okay, so remember right at the beginning, I was talking about renewing my helper's visa. Well, it turned out it didn't quite work out, and my wife and I actually have been without a helper to look after our 2-year-old daughter since the month of May. So this is especially challenging for the both of us as we both have full-time jobs. With schools being closed during the MCO, I believe I'm not alone. Many of us actually face a similar issue. And in this instance, I am actually thankful for the flexible work hour arrangement and work from home policy that the company has put in place to support employees like myself. So what happened is I now work half a day in the day and then spend another half looking after my daughter, and then continue again at night after my daughter falls asleep. What I would say is that actually it has been more productive because now I get half of my working hours actually uninterrupted. And you know what? Sometimes some things do get sorted on their own before I could even reply anything. Thank you.